uh, member of the Education Committee, Standing Education Committee, Honorable Makila, Council Chair, CEO, Kenya National Examination Council, member of NEC Council, our invited esteemed partners who are guests here with us, senior officials from the Ministry of Education, and other esteemed guests who are joining us here today. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I want to welcome you and thank you all for being part of this important occasion of the Kenya National Examination Council. Today we are here and it's marking a significant milestone as we are witnessing the official launch of Educational Assessment Resource Center. This one is an expansion of NEC mandate, which will not only be conducting assessment at the basic education level, but NEC also will take lead in educational research, offering consultancy in educational assessment, and also capacity building our educational practitioners on competency-based assessment. This one is a major milestone in our NEC history. I'll not give so many remarks, but I just want to recognize the technical committee which has prepared and worked tirelessly to make this occasion a successful. The committee led by Madam Anne Gatia. I think the team who are with us here, you can stand so that Anne Gatia is in front. We can clap for them. Thank you very much for working tirelessly and making this occasion to be successful. At this juncture, it's my pleasure to invite our CEO to make his remark and thereafter to take over the program. Please join me to welcome our CEO, Dr. David Njegere, with a warm applause. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Andrew is our newest director, and the resource center we are launching today falls under him. So let's congratulate Andrew becoming a director. In NEC, it is not easy to become a director. The Principal Secretary, State Department for Basic Education, Ambassador Professor Bitok, members of the National Assembly and Council of Governors Education Committee, represented by Honorable Makilap, the chairperson of the Kenya National Examinations Council, Professor Nyabundi, the NEC council members who are present today, our strategic partners, and I think the list has been read. I don't have to go through the list again. Members of the Eastern Africa Association for Educational Assessment, CEOs of other national examinations and assessment boards, the CEOs of state corporations who are present today,
on education. I was tempted to add sports because in my country it's the Ministry of Education, the Parliamentary Committee on Education and Sports. But I think that is not the case here. Our host, who is also the president of the Eastern Africa Association for Educational Assessment and CEO of Kenya National Examinations Council, my dear colleagues, the CEOs of other examining boards in the Eastern Africa region, distinguished guests in your various capacities, and members of staff of NEC, Kenya National Examinations Council. I am greatly honored to have been asked by my president an hour or so ago to say a few words on behalf of my colleagues, the CEOs of Eastern Africa, and also in my capacity as the regional representative of Eastern Africa on the executive committee of the Association for Educational Assessment in Africa, the continental body, of which ours is a regional branch, as it were. Our strategic directions in Eastern Africa, and I want to note that our countries are currently embarking on reforming them to answer the question of what is it that our learners leave school with, what do they know, what skills do they have. That's the direction that all our countries in the Eastern Africa region are taking. And as the EA, the Eastern African Association for Educational Assessment, our strategic direction is to become a center of excellence in educational assessment, not only in our region, but beyond, and also enhance capacity building, collaboration, knowledge sharing among assessment institutions in our region and beyond. The overall outcome of all these efforts is the improvement in the quality, equity, and inclusion in our education in the region, which is the theme for this very important occasion. This also ties very well with the aspiration of Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, we understand that assessment is an integral part of the teaching learning process. It has to be acknowledged that the assessment function is powerful and more often than not affects what learning takes place in the classroom. We know very well that what is not assessed sometimes never gets taught. So assessment is powerful and it can be used to improve the teaching learning process. As assessment bodies, therefore, we must get assessment right to ensure that the learning takes place taking into account the essential principles of quality, equity, and inclusion. When assessment can provide answers to questions such as what have our learners learned, what do they know, what can they do, whether it has not been discriminative against learners on the basis of their socio-economic standing in society, and whether or not our learners with special educational needs have not been left behind. I therefore see the establishment of this resource center as a giant step taken by NEC in the right direction. I am sure, ladies and gentlemen, that when the story of this event is told at the next Association for Educational Assessment annual conference in Addis Ababa in about 2 months from now, many members will want to come to NEC to benchmark. It will become for us a regional hub, a wellspring from where we shall come to draw inspirations on how we can make assessment in our own countries better. This occasion will certainly not be just ribbon cutting. We have been adequately warned by the choir. I thank the government of the Republic of Kenya for supporting NEC in this endeavor. I want to note that sometimes our unique requirements as assessment agencies in our countries is not quite understood by those who control the purse strings, those who control the budget. They will ask you questions like, NEC, you have already released results. What do you want this money for? And if you ask where do the results come from, they have no answer, but they will not give you the money. So, distinguished guests, I am sure, given your experience, you know very well that when NEC comes knocking, asking for resources, they have something to do with it for the good of our country. I thank the British Council and other development partners. Many names have been read. I apologize that I will not mention them, but I know the British Council because we have worked with them in Uganda when we are trying to reform our assessment system. They have been very helpful in providing some resources to train our own examinations officers. So that's why I mentioned the British Council by name. The other partners definitely have done as much. For having assisted Kenya National Examinations Council in setting up this very wonderful facility, the Resource Center. It now remains for me just to say, hongera sana Kenya National Examinations Council, asanteni.
Thank you very much, Mr. Odongo, for your remarks and congratulating us and warning us against cutting the ribbon and going back to business as usual. Actually, there is no ribbon to cut today. I want to apologize to Mr. Onesmus, the CEO, Uganda Vocational and Technical Assessments. I think I had not seen you. Kindly just stand up for acknowledgement. Yeah, thank you very much, my brother. Sorry. He is actually the secretary to our regional body. The Kenya National Examinations Council is honored to host you on this very auspicious occasion of launching the Resource Center. And as was expounded in the theme song and what Mr. Odongo has said, the running theme of this Resource Center is transforming assessments to enhance education quality, equity, and inclusion. As a country, I think so far we can boast of having improved our access to appreciable levels, but we are still having challenges with quality, equity, and inclusion. So this Resource Center will work together with other entities in the different arms of education to make sure that we start focusing our energies and attention to how we can improve the quality, equity, and inclusion in education in this country. The Resource Center seeks to provide a platform for, among other things, utilizing the huge assessments and examination results database to provide evidence-driven policies. I think that's a key thing that this Resource Center will be attempting to do, so that as we make policies and decisions in education, they are based on the evidence and the data that we are holding. We have a huge database here that goes back, PS, to the 1920s. When I came here as CEO, I was shocked when I found results going back to 1927. sitting in our archives here. Those results are not of any use to us because the persons who sat those exams have since left us. I don't think there is anyone whose results go back to 1927 who is still with us. But we can convert those results into useful data that can tell us where are we coming from as a country, what have we done right, what have we done wrong, and where do we need to go. As the country continues to implement the competency-based education, with a major transition anticipated in January 2026, the center will provide several capacity building and professional development courses in competency-based assessment. And PS, after this, we are going to showcase to you that indeed this is not a ribbon-cutting event. We already have these programs in place, and some people have already started to access them. And we want to encourage particularly all teachers in senior school to start accessing this program as early as today. If you are a leader in an institution, a school principal in secondary school, we have a program that is tailored for you. If you have a parent in grade 9 and your child is going to transition to grade 10 next year, we have a program tailored for you. So no one needs to remain in the darkness anymore. The Resource Center has something available for all these persons. We also have programs for quality assurance officers because they are our agents in the field, and they will need to have a very good understanding of competency-based assessment so that they can help us in sound implementation. NEC has already benefited from 2 capacity building programs for all our staff, which were conducted jointly with the NFER, and I can proudly say that these are very high quality programs, and our staff are now at the right footing in as far as implementing CBA is concerned. To provide a platform for all stakeholders in educational assessment for reflection and experience sharing, the center will conduct an annual symposium. And we have already done this in the last 2 years. So once again, it's not a ribbon cutting event. We have already done it for 2 years, and this will continue to be an annual event where we bring all educational assessment practitioners to come and reflect together with us on where we are and where we need to go. Internally at NEC, we conduct weekly assessment conversations. Every Friday between 3 and 5 p.m., we allow our staff and other stakeholders to present cutting-edge assessment innovations that have potential to enhance education quality, equity, and inclusion. We have had wonderful presentations by our staff, and we are inviting you that every Friday we do a hybrid program, either in person or online. You can join us and listen in to some of the very innovative ideas that our staff are coming up with. We are honored to have the support of various partners in this endeavor. This includes the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, FCDO, of the United Kingdom. There will be an opportunity for them to make some remarks. The British Council, the National Foundation for Educational Research, the World Bank, and UNICEF. They have been amazing partners in this journey. Please let us appreciate them for all they have done for us. They have provided sound technical and financial support in the conceptualization, design, and implementation of the EARC. And as you can see, this wonderful venue, you all know that NEC has serious financial challenges, so don't start asking where the money came from. It came from those development partners. So we don't need a headline asking where NEC got the money to launch this. We look forward to partnering with academic institutions, startups, global think tanks, and industry leaders to drive discoveries that not only benefit our organization, but make a meaningful impact on the world around us. It is envisaged that this center will be a beacon of excellence where curiosity is celebrated. That is the one thing we keep saying on Fridays. Let's be curious. Let's ask ourselves questions. What if we changed this? What would happen? And therein lies the innovations that are already being born in this institution. So once again, we thank you, both the local and international visitors who have joined us to come and share in this moment of launching the Educational Assessment Resource Center. It's now my pleasure to invite the chairperson of the Kenya National Examinations Council, Professor Nyabundi, to come and make his remarks. Please join me in welcoming our chairman.
Thank you, Dr. Nyagere, for inviting me to make these remarks. Good morning, everybody. The PS State Department of Basic Education, Ambassador Professor Julius Bitok. I like the Julius aspect because I share that with you. Members of National Assembly and Council of Governors present, Kenya National Examination Council members present, and you will allow me to request you to be upstanding so that you can be recognized. Members of NEC Council who are present, the PS may not stand, but it's a member. Please sit down. Our strategic partners who are here today, notably FCDO, UNICEF, NFER, and British Council, and any others whom I may not have mentioned. Members of the East African Association of Education Assessment, and my friend Odongo has already given some remarks here. He reminded him that when he chooses to come back, he's welcome. The CEOs of other national examination assessment boards present, CEOs of other state corporations present, Ministry of Education officials present, education stakeholders, staff of the Kenya National Examination Council. Very important, we appreciate you for all the effort that you have put in to allow us to be here today. Members of the press, all invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed an honor to welcome you all to this landmark occasion, which is the official launch of the Education Assessment Resource Center here at Kenya National Examinations Headquarters in South Sea today. This is more than just a ceremonial launch. It is a bold declaration of intent of the Ministry of Education through the Kenya National Examinations Council to lead in transforming the assessment landscape, not just for us, but also for the region and beyond. And we, once again, if I want to emphasize region and beyond, appreciate support that we get from us, our development partners who are not necessarily from the region. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we live in a world where learning must be relevant, inclusive, and measurable. To measure learning effectively, we must transform how we assess learner achievements. This transformation calls for more than just policy shifts. It demands innovation, research, and capacity building. It is gratifying that the center we are unveiling here today embodies this vision. As countries across Africa seek to align classroom practices with the curriculum reforms and global policy priorities, the center we are launching today is a direct response to the growing demand for meaningful, reliable and actionable assessment data. We believe that the center will offer localized, evidence-based solutions to bridge assessment gaps and therefore improve learning outcomes. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I call upon us to take a moment and reflect on the theme guiding today's event, that is, transforming assessment to enhance education quality, equity, and inclusion. These three pillars, that is quality, equity, and inclusion, form the foundation of our education agenda under the competence-based education, popularly known as CBE. Notably, ladies and gentlemen, assessment remains one of the most under-leveraged tools in achieving these goals. If misaligned, assessment can perpetuate inequality. But when reimagined and guided by data and context, it becomes a powerful tool for actualizing these goals. Ladies and gentlemen, it is aimed that the center we are launching today will position NEC as a transformational assessment hub where educators, researchers, policymakers, and development partners can collaborate to generate new knowledge, strengthen capacity, and improve assessment systems for quality education. At this juncture, let me also appreciate the Council's continued commitment to quality, access, relevance, equity, and technological innovations to meet the demands of the 21st century education. Allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to commend NEC Secretariat, led by the CEO, Dr. David Njagere, for their dedication in bringing this vision to life. The Center's integration with Research, Innovation, and Educational Assessment Resource Center no doubt indicates alignment with the broader goals of National Education Transformation Agenda. Let me also appreciate the Ministry of Education, their continued commitment to quality, access, relevance, equity, and technological innovation to meet the demands of the 21st century. I equally, once again, extend my sincere appreciation to our strategic partners, the British Council, NFER, UNICEF, and UNESCO, and many others whose support we have received in this exercise. To date, several countries have visited NEC to benchmark on assessment practices, a clear testimony to the trust and leadership that Kenya holds on the continent. The center we are launching today will now formalize and deepen this continental leadership, serving as a platform for peer learning, capacity development, and research exchange. Distinguished stakeholders, as we launch the center today, I invite all of us, government agencies, strategic partners in assessment, heads of institutions, universities, teachers, partner organizations, bodies, to see ourselves not merely as observers, but as co-architects of this transformation. I urge all of us to support this center through, one, strategic partnership that sustain its operations and expand its reach, active engagement in training, research, and community building activities, operationalizing insights acquired through its activities into smarter policies and better assessment practices, putting in place strategies for ensuring that the knowledge generated here finds its way to teachers, relevant practitioners, and decision makers, and policy. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to emphasize that assessment is a bridge to better learning. We trust that this center will indeed be a place where data becomes dialogue, where research becomes reform, and where evidence becomes empowerment. With those few words, I wish to thank you very much for coming to honor this occasion. And I don't know if I'm supposed to invite. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chairman, Professor Nyabundi. We will now hear remarks from two of our partners, starting with Dr. Jenny, who is the Research Director at NFER, and thereafter we will hear remarks from Tom Potter, who is the Country Director and East Africa Cluster Lead for the British Council. Dr. Jenny, please welcome. Please appreciate her as she comes.
Jambo, habari, asubuhi. Mimi ni Jenny, kutoka NFER UK. Ni furaha yangu kuwa hapa. I'm going to stop here because otherwise I wouldn't be able to make myself understood. But we are hoping our Kiswahili will get better as we work more collaboratively and continue our collaboration with the Kenya National Examination Council. I still very vividly remember just about 2 years, a bit more than 2 years ago, I was at the CEO's office with Michael from FCDO. In that office, he shared with us his vision of EARC, and then again, 2 months later, with British Council Ted Mann, the CEO came to NFER and shared with a wider group of NFER colleagues this vision. And we were really touched by this really tremendous effort to see this kind of south-to-south approach on enhancing assessment and education practice for sustainability, because I think all the partners and all in country or internationally, this is the ultimate goal we want to achieve. And we are very honored to be part of this journey, and now through working with the technical group, IGNEC, led by Anne, seeing EARC being built up and then strengthened, and their trainers being capacity built to be delivering really remarkable sessions and courses. It's a really touching event. And when I heard the choir this morning, I was almost in tears. It's a really great initiative. And we will, as much as possible, support technically SRN, and we really appreciate this opportunity provided by FCDO for us to focus on the data for foundational learning part, but also quality of assessment in general. I know it's a bigger event and you're all eager to hear more speeches and then see the actual center operating. And some of you will be joining the taster session later, but on behalf of the National Foundation for Educational Research, we just wish to congratulate the Council again and looking forward to collaboration in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jenny. In the afternoon, she'll be conducting a tester session. So I want to encourage as many of you as possible to remain around and participate in that tester session. Tom, please.
Good morning. It's a real privilege to be here, and as the least qualified speaker on the platform today, my key KPI is to be short and to be able to pass on to others. Chief guest, Ambassador Bitok, leadership of NEC, distinguished guests, please let me stand on protocol previously observed. Some 32 years ago, I first came to this continent, and I had 3 days training to be a teacher, and I taught in a township for 6 months. I was a terrible teacher. I was also embedded within a church choir, and I was also very bad at singing and dancing. So the whole idea of assessment sometimes makes me anxious. But here today, I think, is a really good celebration of things that we're really proud of as the British Council. I think other people have spoken about the nature of the programme, but we're also one of very many partners that we've heard mentioned today, and I think that collaboration has been really inspiring. I guess we see ourselves as a catalyst and a connector, and I'd like to just briefly thank the colleagues that do all the work from the British Council. So here today we have Wilfred and Zike, unfortunately Monica will join us a bit later, and Tedman, and really keen that they're recognised for the work they do to make this partnership work. Also, I'm very proud to be the country director for Kenya and East Africa, so I oversee the work in Ethiopia, Tanzania, Uganda, Rwanda, and Sudan. And so really great to see this project and colleagues from those countries here to think about how we can learn from it. It's a really positive example of UK partnership. So it's been a big week for the UK partnership with Kenya, as you may have seen. It started for me at the Literature Festival. It's a big collaboration with Nairobi Literature Festival and Hay Festival in the UK as part of the UK-Kenya season. There we heard young people talk about their experience in the UK and share that with their colleagues in Kenya. On Wednesday night, I was pleased to attend the launch of a new flight from Kenya Airways to Gatwick, so more opportunities for people-to-people connections. And there was a small matter of a strategic partnership being signed between the governments of the UK and Kenya. And that is to look ahead for 5 years, to find out ways that we can learn from each other, to think about how we can make the world a better place through the things that we do. And this project, this initiative, and the way it's been done, and the partners, and particularly want to recognise and thank the National Foundation for Education Research from the UK, and to understand the work and appreciate the way in which the equitable partnership is being developed. I'm very pleased to be able to also thank the Foreign Commonwealth Development Office from the UK, and to recognise their involvement in trying to keep these items top of our agenda as we think about how we can improve the opportunities of the young people in Kenya. So thank you very much, and I will not hold you up from hearing from our chief guest. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tom. We'll help you overcome your challenges in music and dance. We'll persuade the girls' choir to create some capacity building for you. Okay, it's now my distinguished honor to welcome Professor Bitok, who is the Principal Secretary, State Department for Basic Education, to come and make the keynote speech and officially launch the ERC. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Let's be seated kindly. Thank you very much, Mr. CEO. Honorable Joseph McClap, who is the member of Committee of Education at the National Assembly, and also representing the chair of the Education Committee of the National Assembly, CEOs of examination and assessment boards, CEOs of state corporations present, our strategic partners, including NFER, British Council, UNESCO, among others, stakeholders, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. How are you this morning? Before I make a few remarks, because I don't intend to read a speech, allow me to invite Honorable Joseph McClap, who has been very instrumental in ensuring that we get the resources to move the examination conversation forward, to come. Let's put our hands together to invite Honorable Joseph McClap. Thank you very much. Karibu sana McClap. Can be able to address this august congregation. Thank you.
Thank you, our chief guest. It's a privilege being invited by the chief guest of this event, none other than Ambassador Professor Julius Bitok. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here on behalf of the Chairman of the National Assembly Committee on Education, Research and Innovation, one Julius Mele, who could not be with us this particular morning because he had another engagement at home. Last week he was bereaved. And as a Committee of Education, as members of Parliament, there is no vacuum. Whenever one member is not able to be with us, then another competent member is also picked to lead the program. So the message that the Honorable Mele has sent to me, I'll do it as expected in Parliament. So our chief guest, Ambassador Bitok, our CEO of NEC, and the chairman, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege and I am honored to stand before you today at the official launch of the Education Assessment Resource Center. This center represents a bold step towards modernizing how we assess learning, ensuring the credibility of our national exams, and preparing our education system to meet the demands of the 21st century. Let me begin by extending heartfelt congratulations to NEC for establishing the Resource Center. This center is a critical component of the NEC 2023-2027 strategic plan, which aims at transforming the way we approach educational assessment through research, innovation, and capacity building. It is also a clear demonstration of NEC's commitment to improving the quality of education and assessment in Kenya and the region. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, why Parliament Committee? We are here as a support team to the Ministry of Education and NEC to ensure two things. One, that any policy recommendation is aligned with law and it becomes lawful, so that whatever assessment and resource center is being done in Kenya, it is aligned with law. This country, for our visitors, there are a lot of litigations. And our business as Committee of Parliament is to ensure that the nitty-gritties are aligned so that we have a very successful assessment in our country. As a Departmental Committee of Education, we are unwavering in our support for NEC and its efforts to enhance assessment in Kenya. We recognize the role of assessment is not only to evaluate learners, but also to shape the future of education in Kenya. We have consistently advocated for adequate funding for NEC, prioritizing modernization of examination system, training of examiners, and integration of digital solutions for assessment. The launch of this resource center today is a testimony that the committee's vision for dynamic, data-driven, and inclusive education system in Kenya is being realized. Chief Guest, you are aware that even in this year, budget, and our strategic partners, we want to thank you. This year's budget, when it was brought before the Parliament Committee of Education, the budget line for national examinations was a dash. But through our support and our chairman and all of us, the Chief Guest was able to convince the Committee of Parliament that the children of Kenya needs to be budgeted for, so that NEC, examiners, invigilators, and the entire process of assessment is actually having adequate resources to be able to perform their duty. And indeed, our Chief Guest, we made that effort and ensure that resources are available for this particular exercise in our country. We want to make it clear that the National Assembly will continue to fully support NEC in the mission to safeguard the integrity of national examination, modernize assessment tools, and introduce innovative solutions to enhance learning outcomes across the country. This is a priority we are committed to, and we will continue to ensure NEC as the legislative framework and financial support to deliver on this ambitious goal. Ladies and gentlemen, you are aware that this year there will be about 4 examinations in our country, assessment. There will be an exam after grade 6. And there will be an exam called KIPSEA after grade 6, after grade 9. No, KIPSEA is grade 6. And then KIPSEA is moving from junior secondary school to senior secondary school. And then we have the KCSE examination going on in our country. If these people do not get the resources that they are required to facilitate the entire process, then we shall not be responsible citizens as a country. And as the leaders of the moment, we shall ensure those resources are available for NEC and the ministry through the peers who is sitting with us here. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the establishment of this resource center is more than just the opening of a new facility. It represents Kenya's commitment to creating a future-ready educational assessment system that serves the diverse needs of all learners. The center will focus on 1, developing innovative assessment tools and models that align the competence-based education. 2, to provide capacity building for teachers, examiners, trainers, and educational professionals to ensuring that they are equipped with skills and knowledge required for modern assessment practices. 3, using data and technology to ensure the accuracy, transparency, and credibility of our educational assessments, including the digital verification of KCSE certificates. This aligns with the goals of Basic Education Curriculum Framework 2017, which emphasizes the need for assessment systems that reflect the diversity of learners' abilities and to provide a holistic view of their progress. This resource center is poised to be a key driver of these reforms. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as we move forward, it is critical that our assessment system becomes inclusive and equitable. The center must ensure that all learners, regardless of their background or abilities, are given a fair opportunity to succeed. We must ensure the learners in marginalized areas, those in informal settlements, and learners with disabilities are not left behind. The center will focus the center will thus be instrumental in ensuring that the assessment tools it develops are accessible to every student, ensuring fairness and equity in how we measure and certify learning outcomes. Ladies and gentlemen, as the Departmental Committee on Education, we view our role as partners in progress with NEC. We are not just here to oversee, but to actively engage with NEC in ensuring that the objectives of this resource center are achieved. This partnership is vital to ensuring that educational assessments evolve to meet the needs of learners in the rapidly changing world. Our committee has been at the forefront of advocating for policy changes and ensuring that the adequate resources are allocated to support reforms that are necessary to improve the quality of education. The success of this resource center will be a shared success, and we pledge our continued support. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, today we are not just launching a center, we are launching a vision for the future of education in Kenya. The center is poised to become a center of excellence that will not only serve Kenya, but will have a profound impact on educational practices across Africa and the world. Its role will be crucial in shaping the next generation of assessments that are fair, inclusive, and aligned with the evolving needs of our learners. We stand at a critical juncture in our education journey, where we must embrace innovation while preserving the integrity of our assessment system. The center is the key to this transformation, and we are committed to ensuring that it succeeds. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude, let me express my deepest gratitude to NEC, the Ministry of Education, represented by our peers here, and all the partners that were involved in establishing of this center. Today marks the beginning of a new era in educational assessment in Kenya, one that is data-driven, inclusive, and forward-thinking.